Hello, I'm Bob from Dead on Board Gaming, and today I'm joining you with my Grand Archives Dawn of Ashes Kickstarter kit. I got my starter pack, I got my booster box, and I'm gonna rip these things open and check out what I get. I'm pretty excited for the game. Vince and I have been playing quite a few games here, but it would be a lot more if we weren't playing on TTS, because TTS is just not great to play on. The controls are awful. Even when you get used to them, they're shit. I mean, it's great to have all the cards available to you, but I'd much rather be playing a game with the cards in my hand like this. So, let's go ahead and rip these things out. Check everything out. We got our Lorraine, and we got our Rydex, and I feel like we've all seen these quite a few times if we've been following the game at all. I guess I can open them at the end and just sort through them in case somebody hasn't actually seen them yet, but for the time being I'm going to just go ahead and plow through some of these packs. Okay, so we got this little bundle down here. I'm not sure what this is, but looks like it's handing me all the other heroes to go ahead and swap in and out if I can get this dang thing open. Let's just switch to the scissors. Alright, so then what do we got here? Okay, got a couple tamer things, a couple assassin things, and then it gives us the third level for Sylvie and Xander. So, because of the way that these level up, I can just plug these in and replace the level 3s for Rye or for Lorraine, and they would just evolve in there. They just wouldn't maintain any of the lineage stats that were printed on the predecessor before the evolve. So that's a pretty interesting concept. It also allowed them to add, you know, there's 8 heroes total, but 4 of them only get a level 2, and with that level 2 they lose the lineage as well, because it's usually some kind of gender bent hero, it seems. So if the main hero is a tamer, for instance, and she's a female, so then the alternate version is a normal affiliated male character. I believe his name was Arthur. So it just switches it to a guy instead of a girl. You lose the lineage stats from her, but you gain whatever his ability is, and his is kind of an accelerated thing. So, alright, we got Reclaim. We got Woodland Squirrel, Bauble of Abundance, Tempered Steel, Veteran Soldier, Swift Recruit. Okay, and then with our uncommons, we got Devastating Blow, Fiery Momentum, and we have a rare Spirit Blade Ascension. So here's our first pack out of the preludes. We're also going to rip this whole box as well. Vince and I are hoping to be playing some games with this as soon as we can actually get together in person. So I'm trying to get these things ready to roll. Hopefully by next week we will have a every other weekend schedule going, and we will be able to start providing a little bit more content, especially around this game. Oops. Alright, we got Bauble of Abundance, Conceal, Deflecting Edge, Enraged Boars, Grey Wolf, Ideal Thoughts, Anger of the Skies, first uncommon, Reckless Researcher, and Gilda's Chronicler of Asa. She is a super rare. She's a unique ally. She's a cleric, and she seems pretty cool. She gets +3 attack as long as the amount of cards in your hand and memory are equal. So I don't know how well that the balance thing is gonna play out. I feel like it's gonna be a very specific deck with a very certain type of player. Usually somebody that's used to playing some kind of a slow control deck will probably just break it wide open. But for myself, I don't feel like I could do that. I want to show the back of these for a second, because most of the time everything looks great on the front, but look what they did. Like, they took a lot of time making the back of their card. It looks amazing. So I just caught that as a notice. I thought maybe I'd pulled a special card and realized that no, that it's just the back. They look that good. All right. It looks like these must be just a short, like, filler pack that really just gets you some of the basics here. Yeah, it doesn't even go up to ultra rare. So it looks like these are really just meant to buff up your starters a little bit, but it doesn't give you those huge hits that you might get out of the regular packs. So, okay, so we got Spirit Blade Infusion, getting a lot of Crux, so I think Lorraine might have got a pretty decent boost out of these packs. Oh, speaking of, Spirit Blade Ascension. Actually, it looks like that's a duplicate, so yep, so I got 2 of those now. So unfortunately, my first double rare out of my 3rd pack. That'll happen. But I think this, again, I think this is a mini set. I don't think all of the cards are in this set, so I'm not too concerned that I've already got 1 duplicate rare out of this. I mean, it does suck that it's a Regalia weapon, and I believe those are unique. Oh, no, it's not a Regalia. It is a action, so never mind. That's actually not bad. I thought, when it said blade, I thought it was one of the weapons, so that actually isn't that bad that I got 2 of them. Oop. And I keep sneaking and showing you guys the rares up front, or first there, but alright. Sparkle Light, Refurbish, Cremation Ritual, Deflecting Edge, Bauble of Abundance, Tempered Steel. Increasing Damage is the first uncommon here. Spirit Blade Infusion and Spirit Blade Dispersion. So, a lot of Spirit Blades going on with the Crux, and a lot of Spirit Blade stuff in my pack. So, it's really saying play Lorraine, which, to be honest, that was my preferred one when Vince and I were playing as well. Yes, it's fun if you can last long enough to just blow your opponent up in 1 turn, but I would much rather feel like I'm playing the whole game instead of just building to an ultimate 1 turn, which that's the way that Rai tends to feel, at least out of the starter deck. It felt like you pretty much had to you pretty much had to you pretty much had to do the build to race, at least with the starter deck, because you had a couple just like mega bombs that would go off and, you know, hitting for 10, 13, 8, whatever they were. But it took light encounters and some time for you to accumulate all that stuff. So, so there was a lot of build up for him. All right. This sealed kit is awesome because it gives you all of, this is essentially like the basic land pack that you'd get out of a fat pack, but it comes in the booster pack so that you can take 1 booster pack and just rip right open and start playing with it. So that's a cool feature that they gave as well. So kudos on that one. I really wish their packs would rip a little better though. I'm not gonna lie, that's a little frustrating. I feel like I'm gonna add a second video worth of content just showing me fighting with these packs to get them open. So, sorry if that's what you're seeing here and you're missing out on anything else, but hopefully we'll get quicker with it. I might start just trying to cut them all. It always makes me nervous to cut a pack open just in case. Alright, Aeson Protector, Tome of Knowledge, and Varric Smoldering Spires. Ooh, I got a Unique Domain Mage Castle. It's a super rare. First pack here, so that's pretty cool. Alright, I'm going to try to keep things separated for now. So we'll separate these into their own piles. Okay. We got level 1 Sylvie. Opening cut. Wilderness Harpist. Pure Mana. Eager Page. Planted Explosion. Beast Bond Ears. Wind Rider Vanguard. Drowned Cut. Alright, our first uncommon is Gleaming Cut, a Luxum. So that's the Assassin's third tier. Ooh, and a Terrasite. I am pretty set on playing Sylvie. I think I just like the idea of the board state that she gives you. I'm also super into Illusionist when I play Fab, so I think it's just, maybe it's just that I played Magic so much that I just need to have a board state with multiple creatures. I don't know, but something about it I just always want to do. I always am drawn towards the one that puts out the most permanence. So, alright, with our next one we got Lightweaver's Assault. Another super rare. So back-to-back super rares out of the first 2 packs. And this looks like a pretty sick card. So reveal all cards in your memory. Choose any amount of the units and deal damage equal to the amount of cards revealed this way, split among them. Whenever you reveal Lightweaver's Assault from your memory, choose a unit to deal 2 damage to it. So it's pretty neat, especially if you got multiples in your deck and you can really maximize the amount of damage. Keep your opponent's board just completely clean. And that is completely anti what I'm looking to do immediately. I'll get that card after talking about it. The game's already threatening me. So when you're cutting this, just a heads up if you also end up scissoring. This seam, because of the thickness of the plastic, actually, hopefully you were seeing it, I wouldn't know if I was off. This seam here is, when it catches, it feels like you're starting to cut into something pliable. So it keeps making me think that I'm hitting a card when I hit that middle point. So just a heads up for anybody who ends up having to cut. Alright, I'm going to skip all the commons and uncommons, and I'll announce the names of the uncommons, and then we'll read the full thing for the rare or super rare, okay? Because I don't want to have this be a 4-hour video for you guys to get bored and wander off from. So, alright, we got Hasty Messenger, Reckless Researcher, and Nimue, Cursed Touch. Unique Ally Human, also super rare. Wow. All super rare so far. Whenever you activate an action card that targets an ally, destroy that ally, is her class bonus. So if you're playing with a mage and you have her on the board, any amount of targeting instant damage is fatal. So it gives your spells Death Touch, essentially, or Assassinate, or something along those lines, where it's just, you did. Alright. Alright. I've got to be honest, I am not a fan of these packs. These packs are awful. Cards seem sick. I love the back. I love the detail that you guys put into it. Your pack sucks shit. You should probably, like, that's just so much wasted material. It's hard to open. It's just, it's not good pack. It's gonna damage the cards coming out if people aren't extremely careful opening a booster pack, and it shouldn't be that difficult to do it. Your rip peel thing does not go very far either. Most of the time it goes like half an inch. So something to check out there for the next set, weebs. Maybe just a little bit better packaging on that. Okay, we got our first rare, Arcane Elemental. It's an ally mage element. This card costs 1 less to activate for each arcane element card in your banish zone. Pride 7. This ally won't obey you unless your champion is level 7 or higher. On attack, at the beginning of your next end phase, banish Arcane Elemental. So it's a single use attack. You have to be a 7 to swing with it, and then it just goes back away. But it stays on the board until then, so kind of neat. I would like to see intercept on it, since it's, you know, it only gets to attack once. I would love to see that 7 defense to get to be used as an intercept for your mage, which is already soft. But that is a sick card. The art's awesome. I would love to see that one foil with the lightning coming off of there. Just looks so cool. Alright, here, I'll fast scroll through if anybody wants to pause and check anything out if you haven't actually got to see much yet. Alright, we got Embersong, Wind Renaissance Bauble, and Mistbound Cutthroat. Super rare again. Alright, this is an ally, Assassin Silky. Cost 4, water. Level 3+, whenever another ally card enters your graveyard from your deck, return Mistbound Cutthroat from your graveyard to the field restored. And she's got a 3 attack and a 1 defense. Or 1 health. 1 health. But that's a pretty sweet one. I like that. Ooh, there we go. Okay, so it's actually Alan. Here is the essentially gender bent second evolution. It gives you a little bit of a split in your optioning here. So level 1 you're Sylvie. Level 2 you could be Alan or Sylvie. Level 3 you can still go back to Sylvie or somebody else. Which is a cool concept. 8 characters, you have like 50 to 80 deck build options just from that small pool of cards. Like, that is probably one of the best systems I've ever seen to create a game and give you diversity immediately, so that everybody's not playing the same 2 or 3 decks. I'm sure that there's still decks that are just above and beyond better, but this just, you know, it gives you so many different splits. Ooh, and I got my first dungeon guide. That's just a must. I feel like this is always gonna be a must. Just that you can sneak and level up your character a couple turns early. It has a cost, but I mean, it still could end up being cheap. You could go to 3 from 2 and save yourself a banish card. But you also get to essentially level up on a turn that you've already materialized something else. That's another thing that really benefits from this character, is that you get to, it essentially gives you a second material phase option, but the only thing you can do with the second one is level up. So, kind of cool. And I feel like that's going to just be a clutch card for a long time until we start seeing a lot more stuff. But I mean, I just can't imagine that not being a good card. Oops, accidentally. Mind Freeze and Spurn the Ashes were these two. I just got so excited about Dungeon Guide that I skipped right past those. So sorry about that. Alright, oh, we got level 2 Lorraine. Cry for Help. Spontaneous Combustion. And Lakeside Serpent. Ooh, a Tamer Beast. So if I go water with Sylvie, this could be something that's in there. It is a 5 cast, 3 attack, 5 health, Pride 6. So I have to be level 6 to control it. Now, you can have this in play, but you have to do some kind of temporary boost up if you want to attack with it once it's there. So that's my understanding of how Pride works. You can still cast it, but it won't listen to you unless you're 6. As opposed to a card we saw a couple turns ago where it says level 3, where it requires you to actually be on your 3rd level of evolution to actually cast it at all. This can be cast, it can sit on the table, it can be attacked by your opponents. You just can't attack with it until you reach level 6. And then its class bonus is it gets +1 attack for each water element in your graveyard. And that's only if your champion's a tamer. So that's another thing that I feel like gives you a lot of flexibility with the game as a game that just released its first set. So this card exists as a Pride 6, 3/5 attacker. And then, if you're a tamer, then you get the class bonus. But you can still play this card if you're not a tamer. You just lose just this text off of the card, but everything else remains. And I think that that's also a great feature to start off a game with a very limited card pool, but still give players a variety of decks. And I think that they just get some kudos from me for that one. That's a a very interesting idea concept that I feel like will benefit the game for a long time to come, because I feel like it just gives you very different offshoots, and you can completely change the deck just by changing the heroes and what ability the hero is going to have in conjunction to what your deck's going to do. So obviously not every deck is going to be that interchangeable. There's going to be something that your hero is just going to do for your deck that's just not going to happen if you swap it out. But the fact that you can have that option, or that you can move stuff side to side, is interesting. This one just jumped out at me. Give a bath. Remove all temporary damage from target ally. And then it has floating memory. So, just jumped out at me. Has Sylvie's dog ears on, and it almost looks like she's giving an ice Vulpix a bath. So, just caught my eye, I guess. Alright, we got Tempered Steel, Blitzmage, Galahad, Court Knight. Alright, Galahad is a unique ally warrior human. You can control only one object with this name, so that's explaining the unique thing. So, any character can run Galahad as a 1/4. Or, if you're a warrior, Galahad can attack using sword weapons you control. So that just adds a lot of variation. Being able to have him swing your sword is just insane to me. So, but each character also has one of these. So far, they seem to be very much from the
Albion world, I guess. And they do seem to follow Arthurian mythology, I feel like, with the names of a lot of these characters, these allies anyway. So it's very interesting. Oh, we got a level 1 Xander, Enraged Boar, Flame Flash Subduer, Furbish. Alright, let's skip back through here. Alright, we got Fairy Whispers. It's my first unique. Crux Sight. And Disintegrate. That is a rare. It costs 1 less to play per your level. And it destroys target ally or regalia. So that is interesting. And if you're a wizard, that could be much cheaper. So that's a pretty cool one. That one actually was a little disheveled in there, so that one actually might have been one where the top and the bottom card were both higher than the rest, and that could have caused cutting. I've got to say that's my only complaint so far about these guys is these damn packs. They're awful, and they just seem so wasteful. Like, it's just so much extra shit. Because this box could be this short if these packs weren't so excessively large. Ooh, Luxem Sight, Arcane Blast. There's that big Mage Ender that Rye uses in the print-to-play starter decks. This is why I feel like Rye is one of those where you're just racing to level up so that you can start blasting people for 11. I mean, there's not, once you start hitting for 11, you pretty much won the game. It was very rare that one of us would get to that level and start using those spells and the other one would still pull it off. So, alright, we got Power Overwhelming. 0 cost arcane. It's a mage spell. Remove any amount of enlightened counters from your champion. Your champion gets +1 level for each counter removed this way until end of turn. So that is a nice way to get that level, that 11 damage for nearly free. You just got to lose all your tokens, but again, usually when you're hitting somebody for 11 damage, so far when we were playing with the decks, at least in their temporary forms that we got to use, the pre-released variants, there wasn't a whole lot you were going to do once you were targeted with 11 damage. You were pretty much going to either die or pull something crazy off. You know, like if you were 1 turn away, you might be able to survive 1 turn taking that 11 and then still pull the game off. But most of the time, that 11 means that you've waited too long and Rye wins now. Alright, we got Spirit Blade, Ghost Strike, Extortion Scheme, and Crystal of Argus. Alright, and that is the middle row. Got all those down. Alright, I'm gonna pull the rest of these out, and then I'm gonna start piling the non-rare stuff back in here. So has anybody else got their Kickstarter kit in yet? Have you actually got to play around with it or check it out? I've seen on the chat sites, I've seen some stores. The big one I've been seeing is in North Carolina, I believe. And they've been running events for it already. I'm super jealous because we have nothing up here. I don't even know if we have a store in a reasonable driving radius that actually did the store kickstart to actually get this product into the store yet. So I don't believe that, other than playing casually or finding online leagues, that I'm going to have very many options to play. And I tend to, as much as I like the idea of playing the game, I do tend to lose interest until I can play it in person with paper. I don't know, the online gaming, it just doesn't, it doesn't, you know, it doesn't feel the same to me. So, all right, on Arcade Disposition, Fairy Whispers, and Thousand Reflections, another super rare Assassin Dagger. Prepare 1. You may remove a preparation counter from your champion as you activate this card. On hit, if Thousand Reflections was prepared, wake up your champion and return Thousand Reflections to your hand. Wow. So, attack for 1. Because you remove the token, you get to do a second attack for 1 or something else. That is a badass card. Alright. And it's 0, so you can do it. You can do it until you run out of your prep tokens or whatever, until you've reached your limit of prep tokens used in a turn. Unfortunately, because of the Rain and Rye being the two that were really commonly released, and then I did finally build a Sylvie deck. It was awful. My second try through, I built it again, and then just life happened, and we haven't been able to get together since. So, got an Assassin's Ripper. I know it's not an uncommon, but it's just cool. We got an Assassin Dagger here. Alright, we got another Arcane Blast for 11. And we got Extortion Scheme. And our super rare again. Man, super rare must not be that rare. I feel like I've received more super rares out of this box than rares. So I'm not sure how the rarity level breaks down. Looks like there's 31 super rares in the set. There's 53 rares, 5 ultra rares, and I don't know what these collector ultra rares are, but there's 12 of them and they're only foil, so I'm not sure what those ones are yet. The ultra rares, there's 5 different ones. Yeah, I don't feel like I've seen as many rares as super rares, so maybe I'm just really getting lucky here. Reckless Conversion. Draw 2 cards into your memory, then banish 4 cards at random from it. Return all cards from your memory to your hand. Apply only if your champion's class matches this card. So, I guess if you really have a ton of cards in hand, that works. But I don't know. That one I'm going to have to see it in play before I understand, because it seems like a lot. Draw 2 cards into your memory, then banish 4 cards at random from it. Okay, so you're putting 2 in, then you're removing 4, then you get to return all the rest of the cards. But I don't know how, like, I haven't found myself frequently having enough cards there to where I would really benefit from this. Maybe once or twice a game, maybe. But because of your limitations on your materialize phase, I don't understand how you're going to get that many in there. Oops. Well, I saw that I have a foil in there. I don't know what it is yet, so we'll see that when we get back there. That's my first one out of almost an entire box worth of cards. So they are pretty rare here. So Bushwhack Bandit, Ignite. Alright, here we go. Foil Common. Cremation Ritual. Get that up there. Let everybody see it Alright. Then we got Sink into Oblivion, Sword of Seeker, and Attune with the Wind. That one I'm pretty excited about. That's going to be a very nice card for my Tamer deck. And let's go ahead. With these being this rare, I've got to assume that we're... I like it too. I like that there's only a few shinies per... Throwing one per pack, it just kind of defeats the purpose. Now you just have 200 foil cards that are worth nothing that are sitting in a box curling because there's no value because they're overprinted, and they just curl because foils. I don't know if these guys will curl, but I know that that's just been my experience a lot with Magic, that I just, like, I used to be excited about the foil stuff, and then I just kind of lost the care for it because they just made it so that it was too common. Cruxite, Luxumsite, and Snow Fairy. That's a new one. Alright, she has Stealth. This unit can only be targeted by attacks, or cannot be targeted by attacks unless the permanent has True Sight. Sorry, I thought it said can only be targeted by True Sight, and I lost it there. Alright, on enter, rest target ally you don't control. That ally doesn't up during the controller's wake up phase as long as you control this. Ooh, got the Lockdown Queen here. Gotta love that. Except for the Tamer, and I'm really not gonna love that. That's gonna be the thing that I will be trying to kill a lot. So, note to self, make sure I have True Sight. Oh, we got level 3 Xander. Looks like for the most part, I feel like I could at least do the material portion of the deck for every character that exists. I might not have the best, you know, main deck, obviously, because I'm pulling from one box and one starter, but I do feel like they made them frequent enough that I have them all, but not so frequent that I'm like, great, I've just lost 70 spots in this box to this one card. So that's also a pretty cool thing. Oh, nice. Regala Warrior Mage Sword. So it's dual class. So if you're a mage or a warrior, you can use, or sorry, no, Regalia Weapon. Jeez, I'm just adding words that I want to be there, I guess. I kind of felt like it should have been warrior as well as mage because it's Excalibur, but okay. On the class bonus, on enter, choose a player. That player gains control of Excalibur. Apply this effect only if your champion matches the class of the card. Whenever you materialize a card, deal 2 damage to your champion. Wow. And these are the durability counters for the sword, so that means you have to attack with this sword 3 times before it dies. So while they can throw this over to you, and every time you materialize a card, you're going to take 2 damage. So it shuts down your material phase or causes you to take about 6 damage. I mean, if you're attacking every single turn with it, you should only take 6 damage. But that's still a pretty significant percentage of your overall life total, so it's interesting. But it also forces your opponent to attack with a weapon with a 1 attack instead of whatever they might have. And you could be forcing a mage sword into a warrior's hand or a tamer's hand, and it could end up screwing up some of their bonuses or their pumps. So that's also interesting. Oops, I got another foil back there. So let's, alright, what do we got? It's common. It is a Barrier Servant. Mind Freeze, Spurnash, and Eye of Angus. Banish Eye of Angus. Target ally you control gains true sight until end of turn. Draw a card. Well, that's going into my material deck. Just said I needed that, and it says here I am. Ready to help your tamer kill some mages. Let's get this out of here. So we are in Northeast Ohio, myself and Vince. We do this channel, but we also play this game, or we're very interested in playing this game. So any of our local players, when you get your stuff, if you're ready to play some games, we have a couple local shops around us that do open game days, have lots of tables. So hit us up, and we could meet up at a local shop and play some games. That'd be amazing. I would love to get some new games in with somebody other than Vince, see if we're... Because, I mean, if the two of us are misunderstanding something, we're never gonna not misunderstand it, I guess, until somebody corrects us. So, alright, we got a Warrior's Longsword. And this one gets class bonus +1 if you're a warrior. So again, we can, with that Excalibur Cursed Blade, you can force them to either use that 3 times or put themselves at risk of every time they materialize having to take the 2 damage. So very interesting. Alright, we got Spirit's Blessing. As an addition to the cost of activating this card, return a Regalia you control to its owner's material deck. Wake up your champion, draw a card. Wow, that's a lot. That does some things. Especially when, like I was mentioning earlier, there are durability counters on your Regalia weapons. So if you get the one that you like the most, which, you know, there's a crux item that gives the player +1 attack per Regalia weapon that's in the banish zone. So if you get to take this and bounce that one back to your hand, get to replay it with its counters back on it, you could be making multiple attacks for 4+ damage with just your base sword. And that's pretty scary if you're going to get to make that many attacks with that big of a sword. We got Library Witch. We got Meadow Bloom Dryad. It's a tamer Dryad. It has Preserve. Sorry guys, this is just my deck, I guess. So when this ally dies, put it into your material deck preserved. As you materialize, you may instead return a preserved card to your hand. And then class bonus. If this Dryad or another ally enters the field under my control, put a buff counter on that. Nice, I love it. Ooh. Tempest Silverback. 4 cost, Pride 5. If I'm a tamer, it gets +2 attack and +2 health, and its base is 4. So it'll be a 6/6 essentially if you're running tamer. That's pretty cool. Ooh, here's another one. Man, that would look sick foil. Advent of the Stormcaller. It's got class bonus efficiency, so if you're a mage, your level reduces the cost of this. Alright, reveal the top cards of your deck equal to your level. You may banish any amount of arcane element cards from among them. For each card banished this way, choose a unit to deal 2 damage to it. Put the rest of the revealed cards on the top or bottom of your deck in any order. Okay, so in addition, I don't know, like this one just, you're going to have to be a pretty high level for this one to really be a major benefit, but it is definitely going to be a game ender. And yeah, you could end up targeting their champion multiple times, it looks like, for 2. So if you're level 7, level 8, you could be dealing 16 damage if you get lucky. So pretty cool. And you can spread it out even better. So if you're not 100% sure if they're going to die, or you don't have fatal damage but they got something annoying on the board, you can dump a couple hits there, get that away, and then just dump the rest on the hero. So unless you're going to be fatal, the fact that you get to split it into units of 2, and it could be a maximum of, you know, your level times 2, and that could be a lot of damage potential. Oop, I got my last shiny, it looks like. I think they said that there's about 3 per box. Alright, we got Rally Advance, we got Beastbound Calls, and we have... oh, it's a foil super rare. Alright. Unique Ally Cleric, Gildas. Chronicle of Asa. So, foil super rare. I'll take that. That's awesome. Plus, look at her art. She's just so cool looking. Alright, then we got Mind Freeze. Always a Mind Freeze. If there's a foil, you know that there will be a Mind Freeze right after. Then we got Spurn the Ash. Destroy target Regalia with memory cost 1 or less. And Tidal Sweep. Cleave. Attack all units a chosen opponent controls. This attack can't be intercepted. It has floating memory, and it's 1. So you're dealing 1 for 6, but you're doing 1 to everything. So this is definitely, you're fighting against a tamer or a heavy ally deck, and you're just trying to clear the board. In addition, as long as you're a warrior, this also gets floating memory, which is the most powerful ability in the game. Like, so far to me, that just seems like the most crucially important card or ability so far. The fact that you can replace a card from your graveyard and avoid having to randomly discard a card from your material pool. Like, because of the fact that you're normally pulling them randomly, the fact that you not only get to pick a card, but you get to pick a card that you've already used and has already done everything it can do and is now in your graveyard, and then you're also getting to put those materialized back to your hand. So, like, it's just, I don't know, floating memory just seems to be the most powerful thing that you need to see on a lot of these cards. It just seems so game-changing that, okay, I get to cast this thing during my material phase, and I get to choose what I throw away for it, so I don't risk losing something major. Because the biggest part of your materialized deck is this worth risking what I've put into my material pool? And sometimes you'll get to a point where you're playing zeros because everything you put in your material pool is just that good that you just can't risk losing it. So add floating memory here, and that saves you a turn and gives you the opportunity to really play out your turn the way you want to without the gamble of losing something important from there. Alright, my rare this time was a Regalia Weapon, Warrior Sword, Dawnblade. When it enters play, draws a card, and it has 1 attack and 1 shoot. I am completely drawing a blank here. I know I've mentioned it earlier, but the resiliency tokens or whatever they're called, I guess. But oh damn it, I forgot. I made the mistake of thinking that these packs were meant to be opened. Well, there's just so much good stuff in there that they don't want people sneaking in there to get them, I guess. They just want it to be locked down. Sudden Snow. Safeguard Amulet. And Spirit's Blessing. Alright. I think you're supposed to get an ultra rare per box. I hope I didn't whiff on that. I got 2 packs left, so hopefully we got an ultra rare coming. That'll be kind of a bummer if I don't even get an ultra rare out of here. Grand Crusaders Ring. Oh, jeez. I guess I just called my shot there. There's my ultra rare. Grand Crusaders Ring. It is a Warrior Ring regalia item. You can probably hear a lot of noise in the background. My cat has decided that I am no longer allowed to be alone. I have been alone for far too long for her liking. So, apologies if that noise bothered you. And then here we go. So Divine Relic. You can only have one of these with the keyword in your material deck. So not only can you only have one of this, you can only have one card labeled Divine Relic. So you got to pick and choose. I'm sure everybody gets their own Divine Relic. And then it has Banish Divine Relic, draw a card. So it's just a 0, hits the table, you get to sacrifice it for a card. It's just one free card in your deck. But still, that's just great. Like, you can't, there's not a ton of excess card draws, so where you get it, you just got to be happy with it. I will say it does seem a little bit oddly, like it almost came out of the package with a slight warp to it. And it is the only card so far that I've noticed this on. So I don't know if maybe they had like a weird issue with cutting or what. But yeah, it just kind of seems slightly warped. When you lay it down flat, it doesn't actually lay down flat on the table. It has a high corner here. So hopefully that'll just straighten itself out and we won't be worried. There's no creases, no lines, no dings or anything, thankfully, but it's just weird. That's the first one that I've noticed that with, but it does not lay down flat. It actually has a high corner. So that's interesting. Alright, well, let's see if we got any last pack magic here. Maybe something cool for everybody to see. Alright. Blue Slime. Shout at your pets. Wow, that seems uncalled for. And Horn of the Beast color. This is definitely one that I wanted, so I'm glad I got that one. And that's what we got. So, we got our one ultra rare. I got a foil super rare and 2 foil commons. And then I got, I don't know, let's see if I can figure it out. Okay, so I got 13 rares. I got 13 rares, 10 super rares, 1 ultra rare. I don't know how common that's going to be, but that is what my break ended up being. So 13 rare, 10 super rare, 1 ultra rare, foil super rare, but that doesn't really take up a slot because your foils are all in a common slot. They're in the last common slot in the pack. is where you're going to find your foils. So if you're opening and you just want to show 4 cards, pull back 4 cards off, and that should get your foil, your uncommons, your rare. I obviously didn't get like a signed card or anything, so I'm not sure where that one goes. It is foil though, so I would assume it probably would go into the same last spot for the commons. So hope you enjoyed. I really love the game. Highly recommend it if anybody gets the opportunity to check it out. And if you look around, I know that some of the stores are starting to get demo decks. They're going to all be Lorraine. They give you like a 20, I think it's like a 20 card base deck and a 10 card material deck or something like that that you get to tinker around with. I think Lorraine only goes up to level 2. But it is interesting. It does give you physical cards to start playing with. And you also get to see the artwork, which is part of the appeal. I feel like they do have a good quality card. I'm not extremely into the anime stuff. Like, anime art's never just been like my preferred art style. I usually prefer my cartoons to be a little bit more 90s Saturday cartoon special type of thing, but that, I guess, is probably just because I'm an old ass man, so I just don't know how to get past that one. But alright, so out of my Rye deck, the material deck, it's pretty basic. It's most of the stuff that you've already seen. We got Arcanist Prism, and I'm not sure if that one was in there, but that is a super rare. At the beginning of your recollection phase, put all cards from your memory on the bottom of your deck in any order, then draw that many cards. Very nice. That is sick. If you've been, throwing a bunch of cards in there that are no longer relevant, you've now hit level 3 if you're playing Arcane, so obviously, you might not want to bother with some of your low-level fire spells. You might want to start digging through your library now and seeing where your big boy, your game ender arcane spells are. So that's really cool to get there. So you level up, next turn you play this, you get to sync all of the cards that you've now had a turn to strategically place into your material pool to get rid of and replace with better cards. And then you get to fix your hand that turn. Like, that's an awesome setup. I like it. Alright, and then we're just gonna like fly through here, but if anything's a super rare, I will stop. Again, we're looking at this is pretty much, if you have played on Tabletop Simulator, or if you've tried the print and play, this is very similar to the base deck that you're gonna get for Rye. I don't remember seeing that super rare, but that doesn't mean that super rare wasn't there and I didn't just overlook it. So we got that. And there are a few rares scattered throughout here, like Spell Shield Arcane. That is a rare. There's multiples of. But there is one super rare in your deck, and that, in this case, for me, I don't know if... I'm assuming that these are probably pretty standard, but for me, it is the Arcanist Prism in the case that the super rare alternates. Alright, let's go ahead and check out Lorraine and call it a day. Sorry that it's dragged on so long. I mean, the combination of these packs being kind of a pain in the ass to open, and the fact that this is my first time actually getting to open any of the cards from this set, other than getting to do the demo deck open, which was half of the Lorraine deck, and it was pretty much all the most common stuff and the stuff that you've been printing since the first print and play. So it was stuff that I'd already really seen. So some of the artwork had me slowing down a little bit. Some of the cards jumped out at me, and I just had to give them a little bit more attention before I can move on. Okay, And here we go with, we got a super rare Regalia weapon, Prismatic Edge. I believe this is the one I was talking about earlier. Each player reveals all cards from their memory. If a fire card was revealed, choose a unit and deal 3 damage. If a water element was revealed, draw a card. If a wind element was revealed, each opponent banishes a random card from their memory. Now, that is not the card I was thinking of as the game ender. So that, I believe that maybe that is different. I could have swore the one that, I could have swore there was one that increased based on the number of Regalia weapons, or maybe that's her ability. Maybe that's her. That's her, sorry. Alright, so she has, at her 3rd level, Lorraine's attacks get +1 attack for each Regalia weapon. So this may even be the final sword that you got in the original starter deck. So there may have been no variation from what you print and played to this. But that is a super rare, and I don't know if they made these unique to the starters or not. So that's another thing that could be a factor of whether you have to chase one of these down or not. Alright, I'm just going to go through here again, and if anything jumps out at me as something that I don't remember seeing when we first played through it, this is kind of nice. We got a Dream Fairy, but I believe that that was in there. Okay, we got some Crux of Sight. Oh, we got all of our Crux stuff. Now, I got to be honest, like, going through this deck, I feel like there might actually be more Crux than I originally thought that there was in the entire deck. Now, the Crux is good at your game-ending stuff, but you're not going to be able to play your Crux stuff until you do get to that final point in the game where you're fighting to end it. Like, you've now built everything up, and you're about to end this game. Boom. So, having it have such a high percentage of Crux sometimes can be detrimental for you because of the fact that you're only going to get to use your Crux cards at your 3rd level. Other than that, you're pitching these to your material deck, and then you're risking them getting plucked out of there and banished. So it is kind of a hassle with that being the case. But again, you're going to be banishing some of these cards, so you got to try to make sure that there's going to be cards left over when you finally do level up to that point. So, thank you for joining me to check this out. I hope you enjoy the game. Hope you enjoyed the video. And have a great one. Thanks for being the greatest part of the gaming community. Peace.